Hey, happy Saturday, everybody. Happy Saturday, guys. If you are on here, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Tag anybody on this discussion that you think may find it interesting. Um, we're gonna get into it, y'all. We're gonna get into it. I'm gonna try to keep this one short and sweet. Let's see. So, I wanted to address something that I think is pretty important, in this in this time. Recession, I'm sure as many of you guys know, has been trending off and on over the last couple of weeks. Inflation is at an all-time high. Gas prices are stupid high. Food, rent, I mean, just you name it. So then a lot of people are struggling. So what's interesting to me is that there's been a talk going on for a long time. Kevin Samuels even predicted this, right? The whole winter is coming. Y'all remember that? I think he did that, what, a year or so ago, where he was like, "Hey guys, the economy after the pandemic, it's not looking like it's going to be great, and this is going to disproportionately affect women, Black women in particular." He talked about that, and so now fast forward, here we are, and we're starting to really see the effects of a declining economy that, based upon whoever you talk to, doesn't seem like it's going to be letting off anytime soon. So this is a real threat, and this is not just a Black woman thing, a Black man thing. I mean, everybody is really feeling the pinch of what's going on. Again, guys, if you're on here, hit the like button. Also, if you'd like to show support to the show, please do so. You can find me on CASHAPP or VENMO, Chez, Chardé. Also, super chats are open. I will be sure to acknowledge all super chats. So, you guys, the economy is changing. and of course that is going to impact relationships. It absolutely does. Relationships are deeply connected with the economy and families and the ability for families to come together and build. And so a lot of people are feeling that. This is partially why even among millennials, you're seeing them uh, delay marriage or marry later, partially due to economic challenges and having a harder time getting on their feet than some of their previous their parents or grandparents. So this is all this stuff is going on. All this stuff is going on. Yet notice, what I continue to notice is that it doesn't seem like, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't necessarily seem like there is a big push in different femininity spaces to couple expectations or dating expectations with what is actually happening in the economy. What do I mean? It's a recession, y'all, for all intents and purposes. Like I said, people are making their money just isn't going as far as it was. But even with some of those different economic challenges, it does not necessarily seem that there is a willingness in the dating and mating market for the expectations to change. I still go online and I see a lot of talks of luxury. I see a lot of talks of hypergamy. I see a lot of talks of women, living their best life. I go on Instagram and I see young women, young girls, young couple, whatever it may be, in positions of like lavishness. I mean, you're talking about in spaces where, retirees would be expected to hang out. Retirees, what they're doing. You know what I mean? And it creates this expectation that, my humble opinion, that these young girls, these young women are supposed to have this lifestyle handed down to them on like a silver platter. And I've talked to enough men who are quite frankly frustrated with the fact that sometimes a woman won't even really want to go out with them because they can't afford to necessarily take them to the top of the top restaurant. I remember talking to a college student, person's going to a really great college, studying now to get his PhD. And he mentioned how he was running into issues with different women in his class, different women, his peers, who had expectations of him having to like not only fit the bill, but him having to drop a couple $100s. It's college students. So it's like there is this expectation that I feel of luxury and lavishness and nice things. And listen, I'm the first one to tell you that I love being in nice places. I love having fun experiences. I'm not saying I don't want to have nice things. I'm not saying I don't want to have nice clothes. It's like, yeah, every woman in America wants nice stuff. Like, let's just call it what it is. Everybody wants that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you deserve it. And it also doesn't mean that it's just going to be handed to you on a silver platter. And like I said, unless you're born to a trust fund or you're like in the celebrity class, most people don't just wake up and it's just given to them. You know what I mean? Like even previous generations, housewives, they still had to support their husbands. They still had to budget and save. They still had to do different things. Like they still had to actually manage their finances. Like it wasn't just like they were just splurging and going on vacations every other week and they were buying new, designer bag. Like, no, they had to save, they had to budget, they had to live within their means to get the stuff that they wanted. These, like I said, these are even stay-at-home housewives who right now are owning their homes and watching their kids go into college. So it's like really, for some reason, it seems like our parents, our grandparents understood the importance of budgeting, of finances, of having a realistic understanding of what it means to achieve nice things. I'm not saying that you can't achieve nice things. I'm not saying you can't go for it. You can absolutely go for it. But the expectation shouldn't be that in your teens, in your 20s, you're just supposed to have it. And men are just supposed to give it to you. And if they don't give it to you, then they are not on your level. That I think is toxic. And what I am seeing is that while this idea, this fantasy life continues to be promoted and sold to women, this Black woman in luxury, this Black girl magic luxury, this messaging that continues to be sold to women, it's not actually matching with reality. It's not tempered with people's day-to-day experience. And I think not only is that incredibly dangerous, it sets women up, in my humble opinion, for false expectations, and that is quite frankly that can lead to a lot of problems. So there's two quick things I want to cover off. I ran across that I thought really speak to this idea of the challenge with what is actually going on in the economy versus how women want to live versus how we were told that we should live, and why I think that creates a huge imbalance. So I'm going to bring it up. Let me see, guys. Again, if you're on here, hit that like button. Also, be sure to show support to the show. You can find me on CASHAPP or VENMO, Chez, Chardé. Also, shout out to Ebby Eden with the $10.34 on the Cash App. I really, really appreciate it, guys. I appreciate all you guys' support. I really do. However big or small, it really does make a difference. So again, guys, appreciate it. Hit that like button. Also, guys, likes are free. Likes are free. So I'm going to bring up the first thing that I want to share with you guys. I think it will give you a bit of an insight as to what's going on and also how it is impacting women today, because I think that's really what I want to hone in on. So this is just a little social we forum. It's talking a little bit about, how women have been impacted. Okay, so here's just closing the gender gap for women could help economies out of crisis. Here's how. Now, granted, I know there's been, the gender gap, that whole conversation certainly has been debunked, right? So we want to take this with a grain of salt. But what I do want to at least highlight here is how women have been disproportionately impacted during the pandemic. So, here it says, okay, the World Economy Forum's Global Gender Gap Report 2022 was released July 13th, so just recently, a couple of weeks ago. It says the report, now in the 16th year, benchmarks the evolution of gender-based gaps in 4 areas. The report found that the COVID-19 pandemic and multiple shocks in the global economy continue to hinder progress on closing the gender gap. So, like I said, the gender gap, there's debate over there. Some economists, or just at the very least, some different influencers that I've listened to have said that, the gender gap, it's largely a myth, because one of the reasons the gender gap exists is because men and women tend to choose different. They just tend to choose different professions, right? You're going to see a lot more men in, like, I don't know, engineering or something like that than women. You're going to see more women maybe do social work. So that's a debate, but nevertheless, they're seeing a distinction there. It says the current recession, unlike past economic slumps that have tended to be worse for men, is disproportionately bad for women. So again, women are being impacted. It comes after a period where the COVID-19 pandemic and multiple shocks in the global economy have hindered progress on closing the gender gap. Women's jobs were 1.8 times more vulnerable than those of men throughout the pandemic and are suffering more disruption in the subsequent economic fallout. This year's Global Gender Gap report finds the global gender gap has closed by 68.1%, meaning that as the global economy enters its third year of disruption, it will take another 132 years to reach gender parity. It's a slight improvement on the 136 years in 2021, but remains significantly higher than the 100 years reported prior to 2020. Then it talks about the global gender gap. So since the last edition, the time to close the global gender gap has reduced by only 4 years. It will take 132 years to reach gender parity. So again, like I said, take that with a grain of salt. But basically what it's saying at the end of the day, whether or not you believe in the gender wage gap, that there is a pure discrimination against women, or that the gender wage gap is because women tend to choose other jobs, no matter where you fall, the fact of the matter is that women are still pretty much being affected. And they have been affected the worst during this current economy in this recession. So I just kind of wanted to lay that foundation. Like I said, if you guys really want to get into it, this whole topic has been trending over the last few days. It's become very political. The White House not wanting to say that it's a recession. The opponents, right, saying, hey, no, this is a recession. You're just trying to do this for political means. So it's caused a lot of tension. But I think at the end of the day, everyday people who are going to the gas station every week and buying groceries and having to pay rent or having to pay mortgage or whatever it may be, they are feeling the pinch of what's actually going on in the economy. So like I said, yeah, that's what's going on. a lot of talk here. Now, I want to turn your attention to something that I saw on TikTok that I thought not only did it go viral, this thing went viral, but to me, it spoke very much to a mindset that I think many women have or are in agreement with. And this is what I think. Let me see. Actually, pull it up. This is what I think, quite frankly, can be very dangerous if it's not tempered with reality. So let me bring this up. Okay. So here's one that I saw. It says this came across my TikTok. It said how I spent over $10,000 so far this month. This is 20. It was 21-year-old Black woman in luxury. So again, let's just start there. Black woman in luxury. That alone in and of itself is, I want to say highly unlikely, but you just look. We already know Black folks are doing some of the worst when it comes to economically, just the entire Black community. So selling this dream to your average rank and file Black woman who is making less than 40K or just around 40K, if I'm not mistaken, like selling this pipe dream of a luxury lifestyle to your average Black woman is very much not in line with the reality. And I think that is where it can become a challenge, because sometimes the expectation becomes, okay, I'm not going to do what a man is supposed to do for me. And that's where it becomes the issue. So I'm going to pull up this video right here that went viral. This one right here, because I spent like I said, over $10,000 so far this month. She hasn't finished the month. Yeah, let me know what you think, and also let me know if you cannot hear her audio, or if you can't hear the audio. Let's see.
That that shit is on 80 because I keep that shit off. 175. Car payment insurance $1,500. I have 2 cars, so yeah. 85-inch TV. I splurged in the mountain. That was basically $1,595, and I finally got my windshield replaced. $1,500. My shit was cracked for like 9 months or more. I don't know. So charging gas is a rough estimate. I put $300. It might be more, might be less. I don't know. I'm not calculating all that. So yeah. And I decided to get this bag. It was on sale. I had to get it, the Balmain bag. I redecorated my bedroom. I wanted a red room. $230 Amazon, Target, all that. And I got new artwork for my living room. Fast food, I eat like an asshole. $174 so far. Not too bad. Groceries was $491. I got a bunch of bullshit in my refrigerator pantry. My 3 phones, don't ask about 3 phones, $450. I got to get my monthly massage, is $140. And I got a BJ's membership and like Apple Pay and all that. Car wash, random bills for $50. How I spent over $10,000 before the month was over. It's the 17th. Please don't tell me how to budget, because I know I need to budget, and I had a hard time. So rent and fees, like amenity fees, $2,500. You see my thermostat, that shit is on 80 because I keep that shit off. 175. Car payment insurance $1,500. I have 2 cars, so yeah. 85-inch TV. I splurged in the mountain. That was basically $1,595, and I finally got my windshield replaced. $1,500. My shit was cracked for like 9 months or more. I don't know. So charging gas is a rough estimate. I put $300. Might be more, might be less. I don't know. I'm not calculating all that. So yeah. And I decided to get this bag. It was on sale. I had to get it, the Balmain bag. I redecorated my bedroom. I wanted a red room. $230 Amazon, Target, all that. And I got new artwork for my living room. Fast food, I eat like an asshole. $174 so far. Not too bad. Groceries was $491. I got a bunch of bullshit in my refrigerator pantry. My 3 phones, don't ask about 3 phones, $450. I got to get my monthly massage, is $140. And I got a BJ's membership and like Apple Pay and all that. Car wash, random bills for $50. How I spent over $10,000 before the month was over. It's the 17th. Okay. Please don't tell me how to budget.
Okay, so I see a few comments in there like, how is she getting all this money? Like, wait, she literally had her windshield crap like for 9 months, but she's wasting $10,000. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, there's a lot of questions here. Yeah, 3 phones. She's like, don't ask me while I have 3 phones. We can all speculate as to why she does or does not have money. She's made it clear she's 21 years old. She made it clear that she doesn't know how to budget her money. She also made it clear.
I think I watched 50 Shades.
I think she also made it clear. There's another one I saw that I kind of want to bring up. She also made it clear that she don't want nobody else telling her how to handle her own money. So let me see. I think there's one more I wanted to review. Okay, let's try this one. Okay.
I'm back at it again with the back at it again. How I spent over $6,500 so far this month. Y'all got on my ass last month, but whatever. Rent and fees, 2617. It's gonna be different every month. Utilities and Wi-Fi. Y'all got on my ass about my shit being on 80. I got it on cool today.
How about that?
It's
It's
not
not
because
because
I
I
can't
can't
afford
afford
it.
it.
I
I
just
just
don't
don't
like
like
to
to
be
be
cold.
cold.
Eating
Eating
out,
out,
yes,
yes,
I
I
go
go
more
more
than
than
to
to
fucking
fucking
McDonald's, but
McDonald's,
I
but
want
I
to
want
eat
to
what I
eat what
want
I
to
want to
eat.
eat.
Y'all got
Y'all
on me,
got on
got
me,
like
got like
two
two
groceries.
groceries.
I
I
do
do
cook.
cook.
Made me
Made
a
me a
seafood
seafood
boil. I
boil. I
made
made
some
some
shrimp,
shrimp,
jerk,
jerk,
chicken,
chicken,
all
all
that.
that.
I
I
part
part
here,
here,
and
and the
party
party
was
was
over. I
over. I
was
was
pissed.
pissed.
Target
Target
runs,
runs,
then
then
randomly
randomly
shopping.
shopping.
I
I
just
just
be
be
getting
getting
bullshit
bullshit
on
on
them.
them.
I
I
had
had
to
to
get
get
my
my
massage
massage
and
and
my
my
reflux.
reflux.
I
I
was
was
don't
don't
give
give
a
a
fuck.
fuck.
Tight installation, this shit pissed me off. I had to pay for that. Like 3 phones, alcohol, didn't even drink it, but whatever. Car payment insurance,
Oh my god.
miscellaneous bills. I got my salon together, baby. Yes. Subscriptions. Prime Day got me in a chokehold. I spent some fucking money on Prime Day. I'm pissed. Car wash $10. I went to a little automated match. Pool party, yeah, I made that shit right back. Charge, and I had to separate charge and gas because y'all tried to play me last time. So I'm back at it again
So
with the
I mean,
back at it
y'all
again.
kind
How
of
I
get y'all
spent
kind of
over
get
65.
sense. This one was a little bit more chill, but if you like I said, if you go and look down at her, if you just look at her profile, she came across my feed. She definitely promotes a luxury. We see bundles. I want to say she does bundles or hair. That might be how she gets a significant amount of her money. I don't know what else she does, because there's definitely some questionable things here. But like I said, I wanted to go over that because here you see her buying some like bags. She had other stuff where she was sewing bags that she bought. Here's another picture of some bags. We see all these shoes. Here we just see her just with a whole bunch of different money. So you guys have a sense. You guys have a sense. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. She actually could be a person that is doing very well. She could be that minority of individuals, of females that actually are doing well. Or as far as income currently. But again, even if that is the case for her, it's an incredibly small minority. But again, the bigger thing I wanted to highlight was, when we looked at the first one, this first video where she was talking about how she spent over $10,000 in a month, and you saw like, okay, massages, BJ's, just different stuff like that. What we find is it seems like she's able to provide that for herself. Perhaps. I mean, there's a lot of question marks as to whether or not that's true. But at the end of the day, this is what a lot of women want. This is what a lot of women actually want men to provide for them. If they are in a position where they know they can't provide it for themselves, the expectation is that they find a man who does. And that to me is the bigger issue. It's like, y'all, we're in a recession. Women are being impacted the most. Men are also being impacted. Let's just keep it a buck. Like, men are also struggling. Some of them are finding jobs, some of them are not. Even if you did get a raise, your raise didn't keep up likely with the rate of inflation. So it's a time. It's a tough time for a lot of people. But do we see the dating and relationship expectations changing? Do we see modern women, or do we see women at large standing up and saying, okay, we need to have an honest conversation about how the economy is affecting relationships, and maybe how we might have to temper back our expectations? Or do we still see women being like, okay, we're going to talk about hypergamy, we're going to talk about leveling up, we're going to talk about how to secure the bag, and they're pissed if a man doesn't pay the bill after going to like a 5-star restaurant on the first date? I done told y'all for the first time, like, I don't necessarily believe that for a first date, a dude needs to be taking you out to like no 5-star restaurant, wasting $300-400. That no, I don't stand by that. Not just because there's just too much out there. There's too many, there's too many women who, what do they call it, dinner whores or whatever is the name. Like, there's too many women who are just trying to use guys for a meal ticket. That's definitely become a thing, and as a result, I'm like, no, I don't think you should just be wasting money on a woman that you don't know at like a super expensive restaurant. I'm much more of an advocate on like, get to know the person first. Maybe y'all talk on depending upon how y'all met. If you met online, maybe you talk online or whatever. You do different things, and then when you meet in person, keep it super chill. You know what I mean? Eat at a coffee shop, ice cream, go on a walk, like keep it super chill. And then once there is an understanding of whether or not you guys actually connect and there's a genuine connection, then maybe you guys can talk about dates. But I'm like, I just don't think it's even fair, especially in a recession, that now these guys who are on the dating market, who are going out trying to find a good girl, they're dealing with the recession, but also are expected to drop a couple $100s. That's unrealistic. And that's what I'm saying. The bigger issue is that in a recession, shouldn't there be an honest conversation of how that might actually impact the dating market, or how that might actually impact expectations? It's not to say that you can't still want luxury, nice things. Can't say you can't necessarily even have it eventually, but we can't expect it to be handed on a silver platter. And I think it's like these kinds of profiles, and this is no knock to her. Like I said, if she is creating that money for herself, okay. But I think it's this kind of stuff that we see. Black girl in luxury. You saw the one where she was like, I'm 21, black girl in luxury. This is the kind of imagery that has women expecting that they deserve it, that they deserve it, and that they can have it, and that they should have it, when they're like, they just graduated high school, just because they're cute, just because maybe they can put on a bundle and have a weave down the back, just because they know how to beat their face. Like, sometimes there's these expectations, and it's like, that's not consistent with reality, ladies. That's not consistent with what's going on. And if we go into the dating market expecting that, you're gonna get treated as a thought. You're gonna get these, because these dudes aren't stupid. Like, dudes, especially now, a lot of them are waking up. A lot of them have been burned or had experiences where they feel like they've been taken advantage of, and it's like, dudes are not coming in necessarily with the expectation of like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to just pay for her. Like, it's the dating dynamic is completely different than it was even 20 years ago. So that's what I'm saying. In a recession, young women expecting that they're going to be just treated lavishly and have this lavish lifestyle out the gate, or else this dude is a dusty or he's no good. Not realistic. And like I said, unless you're in that celebrity class, you know what I mean, or you're born in that class, or you're willing to work with a man, you know what I mean, long term to get to a certain point, unless any of those things are your reality, then you have to temper expectations. And there just cannot be, we just have to get away from the fact that we got to be demanding luxury. Luxury is not, we deserve luxury in a recession. Like, y'all, keep it real. Keep it real. Yeah, I see cheap dates are the key. Yeah, that's honestly, like, I stand by that. I really stand by that. And also I did want to give a shout out. I don't know if I acknowledge you for that super chat. Did I do that? Did I acknowledge you? Let me make sure I do. You guys also hit that like button and show support to the show on CASHAPP and VENMO Chez, Chardé. Thank you, Daisy. Daisy, I appreciate it. Superwoman Shay, hey. I appreciate the love and support, y'all. Super chats will be acknowledged. Also cash apps. So like I said, I think we got to really temper expectations here, and it's really unhealthy, and really, quite frankly, it impacts us the most. It impacts us the most. I've seen enough videos now of dudes starting to like be like, no, I'm not paying if they go out to a date for a chick and they're like, no, I'm not paying. I'm not saying I necessarily even agree with that. I don't agree with causing drama like on a first date. But what I am trying to say is that you're going to see more of this. You're going to see, first of all, men. If men feel like they're going with a girl who's just a gold digger, or who was just in it for the money, or just trying to extract funds from him, you have more men who are like, I'm not going to take that. And they will exit stage left. They're like, you pay your half, I pay my half. Like, we're not doing it. And so I'm like, because you have that, because you have men who are kind of hip to the game, they understand what's going on. Women, we got to be more realistic about what to actually expect and what's realistic. Like I said, unless you're born with a trust fund, okay, you're in the celebrity class, or you're willing to like actually work with a man long term and build with him or whatever, then you got to temper expectations and know that no, you don't need to be going out to no yacht. He don't need to be flying you out on the first date. And if he is, then you're probably a booty call. Like, it just is what it is. Right. So, I mean, I don't like, to me, this should be pretty simple. This should be pretty straightforward. But I think oftentimes like I said, we have this narrative going around. Like, okay, let me just do like, I'm going to do a little, you see black girl luxury. Let me just type in and see what comes up. Okay. No, I think I did black girl, because this is kind of what got me thinking about this topic. I saw like a, let's see. Let's just do a little. Is it gonna let me go? Oh, I think I have to log in. I don't feel like logging in. Oh wait, is it gonna let me log in? Okay. Dang. Okay, we'll have to log in. But either way, if you go on, even if you go on like some other larger sites, like I saw somewhere there were like millions of posts around this entire idea. Let me see. Maybe I should log in because that might help. That might help give it a more of a realistic understanding of what's going on. Okay, y'all, bear with me, you guys, 1 second, because we're getting somewhere here. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, bear with me, guys. Okay, you said look up soft life. Okay, yeah. Let me. I'm about to look. I'm about to log in, y'all, real quick because I want to go somewhere with this. So I'm gonna log in and then try this again, or attempt to log in if it lets me. Crap, how do I do that? I'm trying to like, what is my login information? I'm so slow right now. I don't even remember. That's the cold part, y'all. Sometimes I don't even remember my own login. So if it doesn't let me, then try this. Let me try this. Okay, guys, technical issues here. I think I'm going somewhere with this. If it even lets me. Okay, no, I don't need that. Okay. Instagram, percent login into with Instagram. Okay, y'all, I'm having some issues here because it's like it's having me try to log in on my phone, but I'm like, I don't want it on my phone, I want it on my computer. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Okay, anyways. Well, that might need to be part 2 because I don't want to waste too much time on this. But y'all, I mean, I think y'all get the picture. At the end of the day, like we just gotta be realistic. That's my main thing. That was my main thing about this whole topic. It's like the recession is happening. It is what it is, you know. Or if you don't believe it's a recession, at the very least, there's some financial, economic challenges going on that are disproportionately affecting women, and the reality of what's going on should actually temper our expectations. Also, we shouldn't be having expectations like let's just keep it real. Like I also feel that there are a lot of young girls who have expectations that they're supposed to be living the retiree life when they're like 20 and 30. Literally. And again, this goes back to the whether it's the Disneyfication or the Instagram, but this goes back to that idea that because I see it on television, because I see it on Instagram, whatever it may be, then I deserve it. And that's what I'm saying. You go on Instagram and you see these little cute models who maybe are in front of pools or at resorts or on cars. First of all, half of these models are just that, they're models. I know a model in particular. I know a model who, when she's not at photo shoots, she door dashes. And 13, 14, 15 hours a day, she's door dashing. Now on her Instagram, she's looking cute. She's a really cute girl, tall, lean. They have her in all these different poses and all these little different cute outfits. And she may look like she's living a luxury lifestyle, but I know what she's doing when she's done. She's door dashing 14, 15 hours a day, living in a one bedroom, you know, not even a one bedroom, living in a room, like renting a room out of a one bedroom. And listen, I'm like I said, no shade to her. You know, she's doing what she has to do. But that's what I'm saying. She goes online and she does these pictures and does this whole luxury lifestyle that looks cute, but it's not consistent with her reality. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of women, that's actually what they're doing. You're actually living, no, not even living in one bedroom. You're actually probably sharing a one bedroom, right? Or sharing a two bedroom. You're renting a room in a house. You are, you know, you're not living like lavishly. You're not living like these celebrities. And that's okay. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. And there's also nothing wrong with wanting luxury, but we can't expect it to be happening immediately. We can't expect for just men just to give it to us. And you shouldn't be expecting that you're going to be living like the retiree life when you're like 20. Like I said, people don't live like that unless you're sitting on a trust fund. Okay. Unless you're married into the celebrity class. Women in their 20s are not just, they're just not living up in multi-million-dollar homes. like it's nothing. It's just not happening. Like I said, not so you can't get to that point if you're willing to work with a man to get there long term. But we have to get out of this expectation that men are just on the first few dates. They're just supposed to just hand the stuff to us. It's not realistic. And it's highly selfish, and I think it's highly delusional in a freaking recession, y'all. Also, by the way, I talked about this in my post that I just shared. How are we talking about a recession when y'all the marriage and the recession? How are we talking about hypergamy leveling up and marriage rates are going down? So like make that make sense. We're promoting this message with something that's becoming less and less likely. Like what? So, anyways, y'all, if you're on here to get the like up, and I actually do want to highlight one comment that I saw in the post that I think kind of sums this up perfectly. Then we'll wrap this up. We will wrap this up. I see. I work in fintech and have reviewed several influencers' accounts. Lots of these influencers' IG models are broke to average. Yes, broke to average earners. And here's the thing about it: being a sugar baby, like let's just keep it a buck. Like being a sugar baby and having a dude maybe spend a couple $100s on you, or maybe you went in a cute little hotel, you know what I mean, or maybe you've been on a nice resort here or there. Okay, that's cool, but like that's not impressive. Quite frankly, that's not impressive. You going out on a nice date, going out to a resort, you going here to like that's not impressive. Like you're not leveling up just because you stayed in a nice restaurant or just because a dude like took you to a I don't know, a fine dining experience once. Like it's not like I mean that's cool, that's nice, but I'm like that is not leveling up. That is just living a maybe a lower middle class or middle class life, which is sweet. But I'm like, there's nothing again. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't act like you're sitting on M's, sitting on a trust fund, got multiple properties around the world or around the country. Don't act like you're doing that when you're living in a one-bedroom apartment. Like be realistic, and also don't hold men or guys that you're trying to date to the standard that they're supposed to do that in a recession. That is impacting, again, everybody, not just Black men, not just Black women, not just men or women. It's impacting everybody across all ethnicities. That's what I'm saying. Like we actually get realistic with actually what's going on here. Like when we stop with the fantasy and to your point, into this comment, great comment, because companies they ride off of, they thrive off of the fantasies and the dreams of women. I know this as a person who was a marketer and who literally sat in marketing meetings where there would be entire groups who would sit down and write out stories and write out narratives and write out, okay, who is a target audience that we want to meet? What is their age range? What's their ethnicity? What's their education? What are their interests? And you would literally sit down and create profiles and figure out how to create stories to connect with these kinds of people so they would actually buy your products. So these companies who are marketing, they're incredibly intelligent. They're smart. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They are selling a dream, and they are tapping into the desires, and they are tapping into the fantasies of women. But oftentimes it is at the expense of the reality. And again, those fantasies or dreams, there's nothing wrong with the dreaming, there's nothing wrong with having goals. But when those goals are not tempered with reality, and then when they are not tempered with, expectations of it's what you're going to have to do to get there, it ends up being disastrous, quite frankly. So let me pull up this post that I shared earlier today that I think kind of speaks to this. There was a comment in there that I want to highlight. I thought was really good. Because again, I think he summed up literally, I think, not only what women, a lot of women are going through, but the reality of what it actually would take to do justice. What's going on, MrZBlackneffect? I actually need that. You said I need that link, please. Okay, let's see if we get there. I'm trying to keep this kind of chill. You know what I mean? Kind of short, but I know it's always good. I know it's always good to have a convo with you, Mr. Z. So, okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to read this through, and then we can maybe chat for a few minutes. Okay. So I posted this, right? The luxury life women expect is less likely in a recession. I mean, I don't think anybody can disagree with that. I don't think anybody can disagree with that. The luxury lifestyle that women expect and that we see being promoted on Instagram and TikTok and, whatever social media thing you see, it is less likely to happen in a recession when the men who are expected to provide it themselves are struggling. And let it be clear, because men, I think in general, tend not to have to how do I put it? Tend to, my personal opinion is just, I think, and no, this isn't my opinion. Statistically speaking, men, they just don't buy as much. They don't consume as much. They do not consume as much. So men, I think naturally, and I don't know if it's their survival instinct. I don't know if it's because men are built for war and they're built to build industries and they're built just the way they are. But nevertheless, men can do without. Men can have, I think, are more prepared to ride the waves of tough economies and to know how to not only survive but thrive. Like men can do that. Men can do that easily. They can know, okay, you know what, maybe the next few months, like I know men who have actually lived in cars and be like, you know what, I'm gonna live in a car, I'm gonna work, I'm gonna have a gym membership and maybe take my shower there, but I'm gonna save up money to do this, I'm saving money to do that. Like, I mean, there are men who will rough it out to get to a better goal. I think it's a lot easier for them to do that. So like I said, they're going to be okay. Even with this hard economy, I think many of them they're still going to survive. But I'm like, us ladies, us lovely ladies, if this luxury life handed on the silver platter is still what we're thinking, it's like, what are we even doing? Who are we even listening to? Okay, so that's kind of what I said, and then here, it's again just to kind of sum it up. It says, debate over whether or not the global economy is in a recession has been trending recently. It has, especially on Twitter, really all across the board. It says, not to mention marriage rates are down, which means less women are marrying hypergamously. I said that. How are you promoting this hypergamous message in a situation where it's actually less likely to occur? Like, anyways, but are dating standards and expectations for men in the dating market matching the reality of a declining economy? I think we all have the answer to that. I think we all know. I think we all know that the answer to that is probably no. A lot of women are still holding on to their fantasy dreams for whatever reason. And I don't know what it's necessarily going to take for maybe there to be a large cultural shift, if you will. I don't know what it will take, but this is why we're having these conversations. Okay, I see. Okay, Mr. Z, I see you. I'm almost done. But here's one that I thought, this comment that I thought was fantastic. I thought it really hit on what summed up a lot of what's going on here. So it's from Andre Foxman. I hope I did not butcher your name. Forgive me if I did. But it says, you can't have the benefits of patriarchy and also reject the patriarchy. All those women are delusional. A sugar baby may get the taste of luxury life here and there. And that's what I said before. Yeah, a sugar baby, somebody who was just a hit and quit it, you might have a nice stay at a hotel. They might fly you out to a luxury resort. Maybe if you're lucky to even get that far, you might have a nice dinner. They may even buy you a couple of purses or some shoes. So you'll have it here and there, but is it going to be your everyday lifestyle? Probably not. But nevertheless, a sugar baby may get the taste of the luxury life here and there, but the women who live a truly luxurious life are either born to such a life or married to a man, usually for a considerable period of time, who provides it to them as an act of gratitude for their support in the marriage. If you want that life, you have to marry young, be a supportive wife, and from the start, pick a man who is disciplined and driven. On top of that, be willing to hold down the fort with children alone most of the time because he's going to be working. 99.999% of women who think that they are going to wait on the sideline for a successful man are going to be extremely disappointed, particularly most Black women. Even more so those who have a history with Pookie and Ray Ray. So, I mean, I thought that pretty much summed up. It pretty much summed it up. The reality of, you talk about luxury, we talk about Black girls in luxury or modern women in luxury, however you define it. Unless you're born into it, your other options is, in most instances, marrying a man, working alongside him, marrying a disciplined man at that, not just like any old body, but like you're more likely to acquire wealth and to accumulate wealth with another person than you are by yourselves. Very few women are successfully able to rise to another class or live a luxury lifestyle by themselves. I'm not saying it can't happen. It absolutely can. But very few women actually do that, especially when you take into consideration single mothers, when you take into consideration those who have kids. Very few. So you're more likely to achieve this kind of lifestyle or to achieve some form of luxury when you work long term with a man and submit to his vision. May not be sexy, may not be exciting, may not be popular, but that's the reality. So that's what I saw that the comment and I was like, I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that. I see be respectful in the chat. Okay, I don't know what's happening, guys. Are y'all arguing in the chat? Y'all, it's Saturday. Keep it chill. No need to argue. So okay, anyway, so that's what I got, y'all. I think I'm pretty clear. I know Mr. Z. Shout out to Mr. Z. I do see that you sent some love on the Cash App. I appreciate you. I do. So I'm gonna drop the link for Mr. Z because I know he is eager to say something, and it's always good to have him up. And then we'll wrap this thing up. Also, guys, again, hit the like button if you want. Show support to the show. As always, I will be sure to acknowledge all super chats. Me assuming MrZBlackneffect is here, I'll drop the link for you to join on, and we'll go from there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm late. I'm seeing people talking about be respectful in the chats. I don't even know what y'all saying. But like I said, I'm chill. This is Saturday. Let's keep it chill. Like nobody get too disrespectful. Let's be nice. I'm not trying to start no arguments for real. Like I'm just trying to make a point. Yeah, I see some women love shopping things for things. Yeah, they don't even need. No, that's real. That's real. Okay. All right, Mr. Z. Okay, so what you got? I know you were waiting.
I was chomping on the bit. First, you beat me, Chey. I'm actually gonna cover this a little bit tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock Eastern time. So I'm like, God damn, Chey beat me to the finish line. God, but but it's okay. It's okay. No, this is great.
Maybe you can use this as a reference. Listen.
No, as a matter of fact, I actually might. But I'm happy we're all kind of seeing what's going on. And I'm so happy you touched on exactly where I wanted to go, which is we're living through a restructuring somewhat of the global economy. Right. And because of that, because America wants to refocus itself on itself, that there's going to be a downtime, and we're living in the beginning part of the downtime, right? Okay. So globalization is going to restructure, and because you're still dealing with an American empire, what I think is happening is that we still need to have a face of equality and upward mobility, even though the numbers don't actually show that bottom and middle classes exactly of people are upwardly mobile the same way they were maybe in the 70s, in the 80s. Mm-hmm. So if we've decided that Black women are the bottom of the bottom because we've been informed by intersectionality, then you have to make them in particular the face of upward mobility. And because we've been doing that for a few decades, Black women's actual reality and what they think and feel about moving upwards is in contrast. It's there's a conflict. And that's why you see so many of them being delusional about this Black woman and luxury thing, because they've been fed this through entertainment, through white second wave feminism onward, through all of these things. And so they just want the nice things. Also, the commodification of all of us in the way we think, right? So let me read the definition of commodification real quick. Within a capitalist economic system, commodification is the transformation of things such as goods, services, ideas, nature, personal information, people, or animals into objects of trade or commodities. So that's what's happened in our society. We've put a price tag on everything and everyone and every idea and all of it and feelings and all of it. Black women are not immune to that. That's for all of us in America, in larger Western society. And I think what one of the conflicts that we're having is, once again, is Black women comparing Black men to upper middle class and above white men, and then deeming Black men lacking. And then that's where they shatter, because if, I say this all the time, if the non-Black man is too racist, Black men are not providing you necessarily with the lifestyle you want, and not enough women want to engage in same-sex relationships, then this kind of puts you in a weird situation. Who's going to provide you with that Black woman in luxury lifestyle? How do you come about it? Right?
Right. And, I saw, it's interesting because, kind of what got me interested in this topic was I saw some commercial where it was basically, it was like, oh, Black woman in luxury, we made it, or something like that. And it was literally, it looked like just a cute, skinny Black model, which most Black women don't even fit that aesthetic, let's be real. But she was a really petite Black woman. Actually, two of them. It was two petite Black women, looked like they were size 2 to 4. And they were just at a nice hotel. They were literally at a nice hotel. And I'm like, and they're just like, oh my gosh, the face of luxury. And I'm just like, we're literally getting excited over going to a hotel. Like, first of all, this really shows me who's buying into this. Because people who have been to nice hotel, like that's not luxury. Luxury is, that's your lifestyle. Like, you're living in gated communities. You're sitting on M's. Or your house is luxurious. You know what I mean? Like,
it's dumb, Shay. Look, as of 2019 was the last time these numbers came out. Half of American women, so I'm talking about the median and not the average. The median income for American women, not just Black women, was $25,500 and some change a year, right? That's the median income, right? Which means for Black women, it's even less, right? That's number one.
Of course.
So if you add inflation and maybe we got a couple of raises, so let's say now it's like 27,000 and some change, 28,000. It's still less than 30 median for women in America, generally speaking. And in that environment, you got a number of Black women on Twitter, on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube talking about Black women in luxury, when we know that Black women in general are less economically upwardly mobile than other women who, once again, median income is less inflation, $27,000, $28,000 a year. That's why you're seeing so many of them like cracking and breaking in public and making these videos about not being loved and not this and not that, because what's happening is many of them are thinking this to themselves: if I can't have the Benz S-Class lifestyle, then I'd rather walk because I don't want the Camry. And I don't care how reliable it is, right? And like the video that you showed with the sister on whether it was Instagram or TikTok, $10,000 in a month. Yo, like that's $120 a year, right? If half of American women are making less than 30 grand a year and half of American men are making about $42,000 a year or less, even with both incomes, you barely hitting 60 and some change, not even 70 grand. You're not even hitting 70 grand. So who's living this $120,000 plus lifestyle? Who?
Right. And if you look at that, the first video I showed, it was like Black girl in luxury. That's actually how I saw it. Like the title was like 21 Black girl in luxury. And then I see, this young girl with all these bundles and everything, and she's just living the high life. And I'm like, this is not realistic. And now you talk about I think the real reality is that, this is a whole nother conversation, but you have a lot of these women who it's like they have the fantasy of wanting to be celebrities, or they have the fantasy of, what is it, the Miss Anne syndrome, where they want to be they want to be the partner of the upper middle class white guy living in the suburbs, and they want to be his wife, and they want to be the white woman who is at home, you know what I mean, able to take care of her kids, and they're able to go on vacations a couple of times out of the month. They're able to send in the call, like they want to be that. And I'm like, if you know anything about your history in America, that's not your experience, honey.
Nope.
We're not like nobody. Black folks in America, they're not sitting on trust funds like that. Not to say you can't, still have work hard and get certain things, but it's like it's not. You have to. You know what? Idea, huh?
Shay, many of us are the children of the Reagan era. Mm-hmm. So we're the children of greed is good, right? We're the children of deregulation of the markets. We're the children of that. So our reality and what we've been told over the past 40 some odd years is two different things, right? Once again, 60% of Americans cannot afford $1,000 emergency, and that was before even COVID-19. So we know that, right? But your average American, and definitely your average woman, and definitely even more your average Black woman, they think they're like excluded out of some club. Like that's why I don't like to give white people too many passes, right? But every once in a while, I do try to remind Black women that white people got classes too, right? And so what you're comparing your life to is upper middle class and above, right? You completely ignore poor and middle class white people who's living like Roseanne. You think they live in like the Real Housewives of Orange County. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No lie. I was talking to a woman earlier today, white woman, 4 kids. Her husband works full time at like a Fortune 500 company, and they're living at home with their parents. And they're like, we have to relocate from the Bay Area. It's too expensive here. And it's like, and this is for all intents and purposes, it's not like she didn't marry like a poor guy, like, he grew up in a nice area, was able to go to college. And even with all of that, I'm talking to her and she's like, we can't not get ahead. We just simply cannot get ahead. So it's like, I'm like, who are we? What are we even talking about?
It's a disconnection from reality. And it's being promoted. I know, I know you probably saw some of those videos too that said like, F reality, live in delusion. Because we've spoken about this, like the reality of the situation is so difficult for many people. They want escapism. And so they're not being honest with themselves. Like engaging in that escapism is actually manipulating the way you view the world. It's not just a form of entertainment. You actually internalize that, and now you actually low-key demand that out of your life. And quite frankly, the situation many millennials and Gen Z find themselves in, most of us aren't going to be able to live that life. So even if your parents were solidly middle, maybe just inching closer to upper middle, you may not even live that life, even though you did everything you were told you were supposed to do. You went to college, you graduated, you didn't have children early, you did there's windows, right? All the stuff that we're talking about is America expanding. You're talking about post World War II, when all the other competition was bombed to hell. So America was the manufacturing hub of the world, right? So your parents and your grandparents got to come about. Yes, they lived through the civil rights generation, of course. I won't discount that. But they got to come about during a time when America was the biggest game in town, and quite frankly, almost the only game in town. Other nations have caught up. And what that means is the competition for wealth is different now. And you're competing against these people, and they're chipping off that wealth and those opportunities. And I don't know, I think black people, Black women in particular, when they talk about this Black women in luxury stuff, I think they miss that, and they miss the fact that bar is getting pushed higher and higher, right? $100,000, it is good money, but it ain't what you think it is. Trust me, when you get it, you're gonna be like, well, I guess now I need $250,000, right?
No, literally. And like I said, with that, you're still gonna have to be very strategic, and you're still gonna have to be very prudent with how you manage it. And that's what I was saying earlier too, where it's like, I think a part of this Black woman in luxury is this idea that women have that they shouldn't even have to think about finances. They shouldn't have any understanding. The man should just handle it, and all they get is the credit card. And I'm like, that in of itself is very infantile, because even if you think of even women in the past who they were in a different time or different era where, women staying at home and men being able to, buy a home and send their kids to school in one income. Even in that era, it's like they still had to budget. They weren't just like going out shopping all the time. They still had to live within their means. Like they still had to have a basic understanding of finances. So this whole idea of like, not only am I going to get whatever I want, I'm not going to have to just waste one brain cell on finances. He's just going to provide it for me. I'm just like,
foolishness.
That's very childish. I'm not saying you have to know or own it or run it, because I think, I was saying before, if you're married to like a man, it's like you want to be under his submission and you want to let him lead, but you should at least have a general understanding and be respectful and honoring of his plan.
Shay, this is the thing. And that the reason why I bring numbers into this when we have these conversations, just to ground people into what this country and this society and this system really is, right? Half of America, the median household income is about $67,000, $68,000 a year. So less than 70. You're asking most people that are coming, so most people are coming from a less than $70,000 a year household. And you're asking those boys and those men who, for the most part, are primarily Black, because you're a Black woman, to provide you a 6-figure plus lifestyle. And then you're deeming the men that cannot provide you that lifestyle, you're calling them dusty, primarily Black boys and Black men.
Right.
And that, to me, that's just a recipe for loneliness and misery, because there's only so many NBA players, NFL players, actors, aspiring rappers and entertainers to go around. There's so many local D-boys and scammers to go around, right? So unless you want to be the local scammer third baby mama, I mean, like, how is this supposed to work? Because if you're doing all of that just for a couple of nice bags, I mean, I guess while you're still young and everything is still tight and whatever, but how does that work in the long run after you're 35, 40 years old?
It doesn't work. It really doesn't. And I mean, I know, like I said, this, of course, we could all point to an exception. We can all point to an exception to that one woman who, I don't know, started an OnlyFans page at 36 and 37 and is killing it, bringing in $1 million. Like, we can point to that woman or that other woman who, you know, Black successful female lawyer who owns her own home. Like, we can all do that. But again, if we look at the vast majority and we look at the message that is being promoted to the vast majority, that's where it's like, y'all, we got to be realistic. And the reason why I think it's so important to be realistic is I'm like, at least if you know what's going on or what to expect, you can plan accordingly and then you can make the best of it. But like, if you're just in this delusion land, then you're completely and totally unprepared for what is to come.
They are. I mean, so like you said, if what we're dealing with is a group of people now, they don't know and they don't want to know. Like you said, they're deferring all of the responsibility of understanding the environment, of knowing what's coming down the pike. Even if you want to live this Black woman in luxury thing, at least understand the world you're living in, the potential limitations, what's going on with the men that you're seeking to provide you this lifestyle. Or even if you're trying to, you know, provide it yourself, to yourself, understanding the environment, right? What you're dealing with is women that they don't want to know, and they're mad when the consequences of their ignorance comes to bear, right? That is a recipe for like people shattering. That is a recipe for antidepressant pills. That is a recipe for, you know, being Baker acted. That's a recipe for all of that. Because you went out in this world, you didn't care what was going on in the world, and you got sidelined by what's happening in this world with all of your delusion. And you can't escape it. You cannot escape the fact that the median household income is less than 70. You cannot escape that America is restructuring. And what that means is a few of us are not even a few of us, a lot of us are about to feel this pain a little bit. You can't escape what privatization and all of this commodification of everything means. As a matter of fact, you so can't escape it. Half the reason why you're even viewing men the way you are is because of that. Right? Because the concept of men being providers, protectors has been there for eons, right? That's not even a problem. But when you exaggerate that concept with putting a market-based price tag on everything, including intimacy and relationships, what that means is that now women put the bar from being stable to being luxurious. So the stable guy is now a dusty, right? So that means that all of you are fighting for the top 20% and above. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. But what about the 80% of you that he doesn't marry? Now what?
Right. No. You're absolutely right. Guys, I see 88 watching and 82 likes. So I need just a couple more likes. Likes are free. Also, be sure to support this show or support what I'm doing on this channel. If you've been liking my content and enjoying my content, you can find me on CASHAPP or VENMO, ChezCharde. Support your favorite content creators. Also, be sure to check out MrZBlackneffect. He has some good stuff.
Thank you, DOD. Thank you, Chez.
Yeah, definitely be sure to check out his stuff. Sounds like he's going to be continuing this conversation.
Yes, I am.
So stay tuned.
It's great.
Stay tuned for that, guys. Well, do you have any final?
Yes, I do.
Wrap this up.
Thank you for having me up, Chez. Thank you so much for letting me, blab. Everyone, look, man, the times are rough, especially for those of us 45-ish and younger. We were promised a particular world, and as we got older, that's not the world we envisioned or that was promised to us, and that's okay. I want us to not beat up on each other and beat up on ourselves for being lied to. We were lied to, and it's okay. It's okay. You were lied to. They told you went to college, everything would be good. You would come out and the world would be your oyster. And that's not true. And it's all right. But this being mad at, think about what we're saying. Black women that are mad at black men because black men didn't live up to the lie that some old white racist hyper-capitalist told you. Now let's think about that. You mad at the niggas because the white boys lied to you. Right? So like that's what black women in luxury is. It's selling the world the fact that America is still upwardly mobile, even though not necessary. It's really not anymore, not like it used to be. And it's using black women in particular to keep on pushing that. And I'll end it right there. Thank you, Chez, for having me up. You know, and I definitely respect it for all of you. Check out my channel. I'm going to try to do it, have this show up tomorrow, 10 Eastern. So, you know, thank you, Chez.
Sounds good. All right. Talk soon. All right, guys. So, I mean, y'all heard it. Be sure to check out his channel. Also, as I mentioned before, if you'd like to show support to the show, you can find me on Cash App or Venmo ChezCharde. For those of you guys who are hopping on, hit that like button. Also, no worries. You can watch the replay if you missed everything. And yeah, guys, stay tuned. I do plan on having a financial expert come on for the next few weeks, hopefully, and drop some game about what's going on in the economy and how to prepare, how to navigate all that. So stay tuned. And like I said, if you like what we're doing on this channel and you want to support it, you can also become a channel member for as little as I think $4.99 a month. If I want to say that's what it is. Yeah. So if you like what we're doing here, be sure to support the channel, support your favorite content creators. We depend upon you guys to get the message out there and to, you know, to try to do something more constructive. So appreciate all of you guys who have shown some love and support, and stay tuned for other upcoming content. And we'll talk later, guys. Bye.